All right, hey guys, welcome or welcome back. This is Paula with Paula's Imperfect Plans. Today in this video, I am setting up. I'm doing my September setup in my budget planner. So if that sounds interesting, stay tuned. I am today opening, this is from, I just wanna make sure my address isn't showing, from Ever Changing Plans on Etsy. I bought stuff from her when I was doing, sorry for the crinklies. I bought stuff from her when I was in my 8.5 by 11 briefly at the beginning of the year, and actually I stickered the whole planner because she is one of the ones that came recommended as someone who does monthly and weeklies for specifically for plum paper, and then for the 8.5 by 11 size, which is a little bit harder to come by. So I got, this is probably my favorite print that I found. I have it in some washi tape too, like this, or parts of it are similar to what I have in washi tape. I think this is the Agatha one. So I have a sinking fund tracker, 2 pages of transaction logs, 1 of a spending tracker, and 1 of a debt tracker. So I'm going to utilize these as I set out my month of September here in this planner today. So we're gonna chat a little bit while I do that. So let's get into it. All right, so let's get into it. I've got some stickers to put down here. I'm gonna be going over at some point the September monthly goals. This is how I do my credit card tracker. We're not talking about the crooked lines. This is my monthly overview, which I actually don't do a lot with in the budget book. Like I kind of thought that I might, but I put some significant things like the Menards payment due, as we are putting project expenses on that right now. And I need to make sure that I'm paying the statement balance when it's due. We're just not going to talk about that. Sometimes I forget about this paper and how fantastic it is. I love this paper, but that sticky note did not want to come off. So what I'm going to do with this first sticker here, or this first notes page, is this is going to be my sinking fund tracker for the month of September. And I am going to be tracking in a way that I haven't before how much money I'm saving each month, to really see the progress that we are making on our savings, basically. So I am putting these stickers obviously down at okay, and then just gonna leave a line here and hope that that's actually enough. To track my sinking funds and the saving that we do in those areas in the month of September. So then this first paycheck budget, I already have my stickers because I reused other ones that I had purchased, and I'm going into this didn't make the same mistake again. Okay, this is, we're going into, this is going to be the spending tracker, which is, so I've kind of just been considering some of this stuff the same, and I'm aware that it's not, so it's just time for me to address the discrepancy now that I have separate stickers. So this is the spending tracker, which is literally everything that we spend. Money out, things purchased, spent, things for my check-in that we are looking at and talking about each time that I film a week every time that I film a weekly check-in. Sorry about that. We are thawing hamburger for supper. So, okay, so that's the spending tracker. And then I'm moving on to this spread, which is, and I know that everybody does their stuff just a little bit differently, which is obviously totally fine. But I do have, when I do, I essentially keep like a checking register of all the money going into and coming out of our account, and I start it over each paycheck. So it's very much like I'm keeping like a register with the balance of my bank account. So I am that is what is going to go on these 2 pages for this particular paycheck. So we walk through that. I know that that is important, but I also added, that's how I was doing it, but I added the spending tracker to show, you know, where I do my check-ins and to really show what I'm actually spending, you know, for the purposes of accountability and tracking and paying myself back from the cash envelopes, but probably, but this is everything and probably not math just for me, and not something that needs to necessarily be shown on the channel, but just for me. So I am getting these set up here. Now it's a little crooked, but my life is a little crooked, so it honestly is what it is. And then I just like to put that little guy on the bottom for a nice little border for the page. And then in this final sheet for the month of September, I am going to do we're going to do a debt tracker for the month. And I don't have much debt, but I'm going to go ahead and put this further down on the page for, and then I made it crooked, and I'm not going to try to rip it up because plum paper doesn't like that very much. And I will just plant this guy on the bottom row. So this is going to be the debt tracker that we are going to start in September, as hopefully in September we will start to make more than typical process on our HELOC, but we're not quite there yet. But anyway, so then as I go into the paycheck budgets, I do have these set up, and I'm actually looking at something a little bit different. I have to set up kind of my whole month at this point, but I already have set up, I've got a list of I've got a list of the specific sinking funds. I'm working on getting just a better list together of what variable expenses, sinking funds, and what we need to be able to fund those things. So I kind of have that set up here. I do consider certain sinking funds and savings things as fixed expenses because they don't get what's left over. They get prioritized before some of these things that we cash, stuff, birthdays, holidays, clothes, before that stuff gets stuffed. We are definitely making sure these things are taken care of. So that's all set up, at least ready to go for budgeting day. This is the cash breakdown. I haven't put that in yet. But otherwise, that is, I'm kind of doing the same thing here. That's going to be what is kind of like my checking register for this paycheck. And this is going to be my check-in page. I'll leave that there. And then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this actually yet. Maybe nothing. And the second paycheck, I did this while we were driving the weekend, so it's really kind of bumpy, but I was trying to get it all in there. So anyway, that is what my current setup here looks like for the month of September, at least in the paper planner portion. All right, so continuing on with my September setup here in here, I think here in my book, I think I am ready to look at my September financial goals. I've been thinking about this a little bit. I had them put into the spreadsheet that I recently got from Debt Free Jessie, and I cannot figure out how to like film myself and that with sound. But anyway, so some technical issues. But right now I'm gonna come on here and talk about my September financial goals, as today is September 1st. So the first one is funding more than 1,000 to our project. Number 2 is like we're getting very close to getting like everything that we need for that. So for this, my second goal is that my daycare money, well, 300 of the daycare, 300 biweekly, is going directly to the project until we sort out, till we get that done. And then once we get that funded, I will have to come up with a new goal and a new plan, which I already have. But anyway, so my goal for each of these paychecks, my 300 of the daycare biweekly is going to the project. The other 20, because our budget for daycare was $320 per pay period through the summer. The other $20, daycare $20 is going to his and hers. So I have not upped our allowance or our spending money or his and hers, our blow money, whatever it is that you call it, in a little while. And so that's my goal with that, is to up it 10 for each of us. Yeah, just because. Anyway, and I will anyway. Goal number 4 is spreadsheet all set up. I wanted to really work with the new spreadsheet that I got in addition to this, to have a little bit more of a, I can look out a little bit farther before I'm setting up the specific paycheck budgets, because I love paycheck budgets on paper, but the spreadsheets to look out for the rest of the month and months to come and to kind of plan for those things is very nice, especially when it's a spreadsheet someone else made, because I do not have, I love spreadsheets, but I don't know how to create them to the level that of the ones that I like to use. So my other goals, I was going to start a travel sinking fund using a savings challenge. And number 6 was my emergency fund savings challenge. And the thing with these is that those two things may get put on hold. So I may just push that back. I almost took them off my goals list because I'm like, right now we are really coming close to crossing the finish line, and I want to be able to cash flow absolutely as much as I can for this project. Like, my husband ordered the steel today for the walls and the roof. Like, we are so close to having the outside done so that the 2 contractors can come and work on the inside. But like, I know like that this money that I was planning on using for these is probably going to have to go to the project. So I almost took the goals off here, but I was like, no, like, that's good accountability for you to know that this was a goal and you made a conscious decision to amend that goal, to do something different with that for short term, and maybe we push that back. But right now, these are my goals for September. These are my focuses. I still don't know what my paychecks are going to be. I should know I don't know. I should know by the 6th. September 6th, what the paycheck will be for the first week, in addition to the fact that our $300 is $320 is freeing up in our budget from daycare. Anyone who's been there knows that. Plus, the check on September 8th will be the first one of me working 40 hours a week instead of 34. So there should be a good amount of change between my net pay for those checks, and I have to get used to budgeting those larger amounts, and I had kind of allocated what I was going to do with some of that stuff. But at this point, kind of everything is on hold until the project, and then we will go forward with a new plan. But these are my September financial goals. I would love to hear about yours.